Welcome back to the November episode of County Connection. We are going to stick with the transit theme for our next segment and talk about a new SmartBus system that the Summit Stage is working diligently to implement this month and will launch for public use, which is very exciting. And this is really a marriage of public transit and technology to make that experience easier and more user-friendly for Summit Stage riders. Jim, what is a SmartBus system?
Well, I think the main thing that's going to be of interest to the riders and the public is we have a mobile app that's going to be coming, and what that will allow people to do is using either their smartphone, or if they don't have a smartphone, if they have a older model phone, they can get real-time information on their bus. And it'll also tell you where you are relative to the bus stop. So if you're new to the area and you're not sure where the bus stop is, you'll be able to see not only the routes and the buses, but where the nearest bus stop is.
Right.
But the big thing is it will provide you with real-time information on where the bus is. So if you're out there waiting for a bus, and you know, in winter conditions or with construction going on, the buses are sometimes running late, you'll be able to see that information in real time. So you'll know exactly when that bus is going to be there.
Right. I think this is going to be especially great for people like me who wait to the last minute to go to my bus stop, and I'm usually running, and then I'm not sure if I've already missed it. So this will give me concrete evidence of whether I have missed the bus or not. So I think that's great. And then this is going to be a huge benefit for our visitors too.
I think particularly, well, both visitors as well as the local folks who use the service all the time. But for visitors, who aren't familiar with the system, they can look at the whole route structure, where the buses are, and be able to figure out exactly where they need to go to catch that bus and when that bus is going to be there. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be particularly helpful for visitors, but certainly the locals as well. So there'll be some other components to this coming. The mobile app we hope to have ready around the time that our winter schedule goes into effect, which is November 22nd.
Okay.
And then coming later, and I think this will be of particular interest to folks as well, is on board the buses, there will be an automated announcing system announcing the next bus stop, so that as the bus approaches, within 500 or 800 feet of the bus stop, a voice will come on and announce what that stop is. And there will also be an electronic sign on board the bus that'll flash the name of that bus stop. So if you're not familiar with the area, or the windows are steamed up on the bus, you'll know exactly what the next stop is coming up.
Right. I think that's going to be super helpful for folks, again, locals as well as visitors who sometimes it can be a little stressful to, if you're trying to get somewhere and it's your first time on a bus in Summit County, it can be a little stressful to know, have I missed my stop already, or when is it coming? And but to have those announcers and the digital signs up there will be really helpful.
It's just going to make the whole experience of riding the bus a lot easier.
Right. So Bruce, you have been involved in the implementation of the whole system. Take us behind the scenes a little bit. What are some of the components that make up the system?
Well, the buses will have GPS hardware installed on them so that they can communicate to our automated computer-assisted dispatch system. And what that will do is, with the software that we've purchased, it will allow a smartphone user or a tablet or computer user to actually see a display of our route system, color-coded the same way we color-code our printed schedule. And we'll have what they call little pins that'll represent the bus position, and you'll be able to watch those pins advance along the bus route. So if you know your route and you know your bus stop, you'll be able to look at that and get a visual idea of how quickly the bus will reach you. And if you don't have that smartphone technology, if you're using a flip phone, say, you can take the bus stop number from the bus stop sign and input that to a phone number that will text you back the estimated time of the next bus that will reach your stop. So one of the factors that we're doing right now is we're taking all those bus stop numbers that have just been assigned, and we'll be posting them at each bus stop. So if you're physically at the stop, you'll see a sign that tells you what the number of that stop is. And if you're in a condo and trying to establish what the nearest bus stop is to you, and you're referring to either our printed schedule or our website or that real-time map that we were talking about, you'll be able to identify that bus stop both by its name, which is usually a street intersection or something like that.
Right.
As well as its number that you would text in to find out the arrival time of the next bus.
Okay.
So it's all pretty exciting, and it takes the print media that we've been using for years and ties it in with the new digital technology.
Okay, and it's great that for people who are interested in accessing the system, they can use it from such a wide variety of devices, from a desktop computer all the way down to a cell phone that doesn't really have smartphone capability.
Right.
Just texting. So that's great. So how will people be able to download the app? Where can people find the app?
Probably most people would go to the Summit Stage website, which is summitstage.com, and there'll be a link to the app. But they can also go directly to the company that's developing this for us is a company named Double Map. So they have a website, and there'll be a website specifically for the app as well. So
Okay.
there'll be those different ways of getting to the app.
All right. So people can just have that, for those people who are accessing the system via smartphone, just really have it right there at their fingertips.
Right, but as Bruce mentioned, if you've got a flip phone, you can access
Right.
at least the real-time information through that as well.
All right. And let's see, Jim, let's talk a little bit about the passenger counting system and how that's going to help both you as operators of this public transit system, as well as give some information to users.
Another piece of this project is we're going to be, actually the hardware has already been installed in the buses. It's called an automatic passenger counting system, so that right now we are required to count passengers. The drivers do it with a paper and pencil as people get on and off the bus, or on the bus I should say. With the automated system, we'll know people getting on and off the bus literally at every stop. So if we want to see how many people are using a particular stop, a particular route for a day, a week, or for a whole year, we'll be able to pull that information really quickly. So it'll give us the kind of information we need to tweak the system. It'll also, on a day-to-day basis, help the dispatchers know as buses are getting full when we need to send out additional buses, so we don't leave people out there waiting for the next bus.
Right. So that will come in handy during our peak times, during the height of ski season and the big holidays and things like that.
Exactly.
Great. Bruce, how about you? What are you looking forward to in your position as the Summit Stage planner as far as these capabilities?
Well, one thing that we've always had difficulty doing is, as Jim has said, going back to the paper documents that we have maintained on ridership. It's a fairly extensive process to compile the ridership, which we report to the federal government because they're our partner in funding a lot of our operations. Mm-hmm. And also just in knowing what routes overload at what times of day, what times of the year. Frequently we get questions from the public or at the transit board with respect to the performance of a particular route or a particular route segment. Mm-hmm. And so it'll be nice to be able to pull that data out of the database that the passenger counting system feeds all the data into. So it'll be a useful planning tool. It'd be nice to think that we can always send out an extra bus when buses tend to overload or when it's standing room only. We have a reasonably good opportunity to do that, but we don't always have a spare bus and a spare driver. And so we do our best to anticipate those overload situations currently, but with this passenger counting system and the GPS, we'll know where physically the bus is when it's getting overloaded by the count of how many people are getting on board. And so that'll help us anticipate a little bit better where those difficult points in the system are, so that we can get extra buses out there.
Okay, sounds great. And go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to say, I think this whole system, we haven't really talked much about this, but I think one of the benefits of it is it's really going to make the driver's job a lot easier and better.
Okay.
Right now, as Bruce mentioned, they're keeping track of people getting on and off with a paper and pencil. They're having to announce stops by getting a microphone and announcing the stop, and all that will be taken away, and it'll be done automatically, and frankly, probably better than the drivers can do, and allow them to focus on operating the bus.
Right.
So that'll be a real benefit of this whole system.
Excellent. All right, and also there are some new enhancements to the service that'll be introduced this winter, and with the SmartBus system in place and the app available, it'll make it all the easier for people to use and access those new routes and frequencies. Can you give us just a quick update on some of these new enhancements, Bruce?
Sure. Similar to what we did last winter, we deployed 3 extra buses in the morning that we called rush hour buses that tried to anticipate some of those overload situations. One was on the Silverthorne Loop route, one was on Wilderness, and one was on the Copper Mountain route. And so we added those 3 extra buses at the time of day that we thought would be the peak time when the bus tends to be standing room only.
Okay.
And this year we're going to repeat those buses, only we have some new data from surveys that we did last December on board the buses, and then we repeated in March. So we hit the demographics of the holiday travelers and the spring break travelers, and we got a better idea when those buses should run. So we've adjusted the times a little bit earlier in the morning on 2 out of those 3 morning rush hour buses.
Okay.
And to kind of bookend it, we added 3 afternoon rush hour buses on those same 3 routes to help people get home more smoothly and more likely have a seat rather than have to stand. We have 2 express buses that we tried last winter that we're going to continue for this winter. That'll be the Keystone Express and the Breck Express. And the survey feedback was that they were running a little too late for most people's schedules.
Okay.
So both of those are going to operate a little bit earlier in the day than they did last year.
So people have a better shot at fresh tracks this winter?
Absolutely, yes.
All right.
Yeah, so we're torn between the people that want to sleep in a little bit and get a comfortable start, and those that want to be out there at first chair.
All right.
So these will be scheduled more toward the first chair.
All right.
Also, one of those, the Keystone Express, did not connect very well to our A-Basin bus.
Okay.
So we've fixed that, and it'll connect better to A-Basin.
All right, great. So really people have faster, more efficient, more frequent options in getting
Yes.
to every ski area in Summit County now.
And then we have 2 other routes, one that's brand new and one that's been augmented. The Lake County route, which previously has only operated a couple of runs in the morning and a couple in the afternoon. We've got a new midday service there and a later evening service. And that was based on a grant that actually Lake County applied for and was awarded by the CDOT people. And that'll help it connect with the bus staying system.
Oh, perfect.
So getting to and from Denver from Leadville is easier now with the addition of the midday and the evening bus.
That's great. So if you live in Leadville, you can now get all the way to Denver without a car.
Correct. And then the other exciting news is we've started a commuter route similar to the Leadville route, but it's going to service the Blue River town.
Yeah.
And it's going to be coming in a couple of runs in the morning and a couple of runs in the afternoon, early evening, to help people that are living in Blue River to commute into Breckenridge, where they can connect to the free ride bus system that the town operates and the Summit Stage, all at the Gondola bus station.
Right. That is a great new addition to really serve a whole new residential location in Summit County. So that's
yes. And all this starts November 22nd. That's
all right.
important.
Fantastic. Anything else that either of you would like to add about the SmartBus system or any upcoming winter Summit Stage news?
Well, I think that covers most of the news, but since you've got me here, I would like to at least make a plug for the fact that we are still hiring drivers.
Okay.
So if there's anyone out there that has a CDL or doesn't have a CDL, we'll train you. Starting wage is $16.89 an hour with great county benefits. So if you have an interest in driving a bus, give us a call.
All right. Well, yeah, if you are out there in the job market, take advantage of that option. And people can find out information on all these topics and more on the Summit Stage website. Jim, can you tell us
SummitStage.com or 970-668-0999 is our office number.
All right. Thanks very much. Thanks, Bruce, and thanks, Jim, for coming on today. And best of luck with all these new developments with the Summit Stage.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, stick with us. When we come back, we are going to be talking about a great coalition in Summit County that's working to improve community nutrition.
Running wild.